I think EG has the upper hand, so I'm gonna go for EG here.
I think I'll have to agree with that. I feel they have the more rounded lineup to just close it out in the end.
I'm a believer in Zai, and PPD very seldom has a weak draft, actually. I think that's a strong point about EG. They always had a solid draft in the last 2 years, in fact, when he's been captaining. So I'm pretty impressed. I think they have an okay draft here.
We'll see how things do pan out to hop into game number 1 of our final series here for day 3. We have Capitalist
remaining.
and Blitz. Take it away, gentlemen.
5 seconds remaining.
Thank you, Dakota. You can't tell, I've got a very loud and very proud American crowd behind me, supporting Evil Geniuses all the way. But what you may not be able to tell is just to my left, there is an equally loud, yet somewhat smaller Chinese crowd backing EHOME. Big crowd favorites on both sides here, but Blitz, who won out in the draft, in your opinion? Because it seems like our analysts backing EG pretty heavily.
I think EHOME can actually take it in the team fights. What it's going to come down to is the mini pickoffs and how the laning phase goes. I feel like if EHOME can roll over EG in the laning phase, then this could be a quick win for them. But for EG, the plan is simple. Fight around the Void Chronosphere as often as you can and try to get a strong laning phase.
And just like that, as the unpause comes forwards, the USA chants begin. No doubt we'll hear plenty of EHOME chants coming in as well. We're going to start things off EHOME, beginning with an early smoke as they start getting...
Oh, there we go. There it is. The battle of the chants has only just begun.
I like it, man. It keeps it hype.
Oh, absolutely.
Be biased as you want, crowd.
Old 11, smoked up, is already going to lay down some pretty aggressive vision, both blocking away that offlane camp and getting some vision in to that mid lane. No action going to come forwards in our first bit here. Is the Ancient Apparition, we were kind of talking about the EG draft, would they have enough damage to be able to eat through some of these EHOME heroes? The Ancient Apparition very clearly lowers the threshold of damage required to kill EHOME. Is that enough in your mind?
It depends,
30
because for
seconds to
EHOME,
battle.
they want to just run past PPD's ultimate. If you allow Ancient Apparitions to get into an Ancient Apparition kind of game, which is everybody sets up for your ultimate, you get it on the single targets over and over again, you blow up core heroes, then it's going to be very dangerous for EHOME. For EHOME to play around that ultimate, it's to push the pace and make that hero useless, because when it comes to the actual team fight, PPD is going to just be sitting back, picking for his opportunities, so largely it's going to be 4v5 and dependent on whether or not his team can hold out for him. And so for AA, laning phase-wise, he's going to be a little bit lackluster, and in terms of team fight contribution, if EHOME can play fast enough, they can really limit his effectiveness.
But does EHOME have fast enough heroes for it? You've got a Beastmaster and a Timbersaw. Both those cores require quite a large amount of farm before they come online for the mid-game. Are they really going to be able to rush the Ancient Apparition and put EG off guard like they hope?
I think so, because if you're EHOME, what you really want to do is you want to put EG in a position where you have to defensively fire off abilities without really thinking about it too much, just to try to get cores out. And for EHOME, I think they have a lot of their comfort picks. You've got Old Chicken on this Juggernaut. Ice 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 was the original Timbersaw as far as I'm concerned. He was one of the people that was using it in the offlane most frequently when I first started seeing it.
Yeah, there's definitely some crazy offlane Ice 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 clips out there on the Timbersaw. Getting kills 1v2, 1v3 at times. Lanham is going to be our offlaner right now for EHOME as standard Beastmaster play. He's going to be starting off in the jungle with his Iron Talon much faster than even attempting the lane. Even if it is 1v1, Beastmasters will oftentimes just default to the jungle simply because he's able to do it so quickly. So Lanham's going to be attempting to pick up some extra experience by appearing in the offlane. Natural tankiness may allow him to do that just for free without getting punished by the duo of PPD's Ancient Apparition and Universe's Faceless Void.
PPD just going to keep pulling to this lane. This is the correct thing to do when you can't really do much to this Ogre. There's not a whole lot that PPD is going to want to do against this 8 armor Ogre who's got this win lace. Might as well just let your safe lane carry passively get ahead. And that's what Universe is going to do, and they're going to prioritize this farm quite a lot. As Fear, playing Axe in this lane is doing pretty okay, but Ice 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 making his move forward. He's got that. Whirling Death almost to do it.
There it is. First blood for Fenrir. Fear. He's playing the aggressive role with Zai,
trying to put some pressure on that Ice 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 Timbersaw with that first spin that Axe is able to put out, but overstays his...
He's getting a little bit low.
He's gonna be caught as well. They're actually gonna battle it out here. Slowed down by the 4.
Dire's middle
Has
tower is
another
under
poison.
attack.
This up to 3 stacks, but doesn't look like it's gonna be enough. A second kill going the way of EHOME, and Old 11 just keeps on trucking, farming away through those neutrals.
That must be such a nice bonus for him. Instead of farming neutrals, he just farms Zai and EG, not after the start that they wanted. We talked about how the laning phase had to go well for Ice and the crew, and so far, EHOME are performing.
Some uncharacteristic heroes, perhaps for evil geniuses, some uncharacteristic moves, and it's resulting in some mistakes from evil geniuses here in this laning phase. Our mid lane still going all right for EHOME. Old Chicken sitting at 10-4 compared to the 12-3 of Sumail's Mirana. Pretty expected.
Yeah, this lane isn't really going to go one favor another just because of Juggernaut can't really kill the Mirana. The Mirana has some kill potential on Old Chicken, but as long as he plays with that healing ward and that Fairy Fire, he should be just fine. So it's largely going to come down to a CS contesting battle, and Sumail's rotations into the other lane are going to determine a lot for me. In this game, I think this Jug can even make his way bottom quite early. Doesn't have a lot of kill potential, but maybe they can make a move on PPD to zone out the jungle area and start to get aggressive. We saw it in the game against Newbie yesterday. EG, they dealt with that so well though.
Now, what about this Axe versus Timbersaw matchup? Surely this matchup is supposed to go in a way where Axe puts a lot of pressure on Timbersaw early, but he already gave up that early kill, and I don't think it's going to go well for Deer. Oh my god! That whirling death, and now it's slowly taken away. The Shadow Word will finish him off. A third kill for EHOME.
What? He had like 450 HP. The Fatal Bonds and the Whirling Death just immediately take him down. Fear was not expecting that. Well overrating how much he could tank.
You want to talk about lowering that threshold from the Ancient Apparition? Well, Timbersaw is able to do that so much more on those strength heroes thanks to that Whirling Death. Zai going to be pushed back once again by the double boars. Old 11 is dropping lower and lower, but he's already got his Tranquil Boots thanks to jungling and that early kill on Zai. So he's got the sustain to stick it out in this jungle, and it doesn't look like Zai's going to be able to interrupt him any further.
Yeah, Ice. He's content to allow Fear to just farm a little bit because they're getting the kills on him, and you're just fattening him up to slaughter him later. As Fear going to go back, pop this out for himself.
And everywhere I look, Lanham, he starts going on to PPD, is going to force a rotation out of Universe. Should be just fine with his extra movement speed on Bloodlust. Universe chasing him all the way back. He was even able to stop the attempted pull behind PPD and threaten his life. Just enough to force out that rotation. Seems like every single lane is being won by EHOME.
This bottom lane is doing okay still in terms of CS and this mid lane, but at the same time, you're just concerned about these random deaths. EG, they're probably still feeling okay right now. It's still only the laning phase. We've seen how much a team can come back, but they're going to have to do their common things is they're going to have to allow PPD to try to get this fast level 6, but with Universe in this lane, I'd imagine they want to get him his 6 first, then he'll rotate out while PPD just soaks XP.
Zai, not much to do anymore. I imagine he'll have some opportunities to start Shadow Poison stacking the jungle for Axe, as it seems like their off lane isn't going to work any longer. Not now that Timbersaw is level 6 and has that Chakram ready to go.
And on M right now, just pulling back the wave. Sumail doing a very good job of keeping up in CS.
Radiant's top tower is under
Just starting
attack.
to bother him a lot in this lane as Ice pushing out top as EHOME make the full rotation around.
No, the TP is Universe. He's going to show himself, thinking it's going to be
not gonna like this one.
damage, but Old 11 shows himself with the smoke, and now we get the Primal Roar on the Universe. The save from Zai. Disrupts in a momentary respite, but it's not enough. Ice with the first damage comes through. And they get a big
Dire's
kill
middle tower
on Universe's
is under attack.
Faceless Void, who was supposed to be farming away in that safe lane and getting great CS. Now has to take a step backwards in network.
Yeah, we talked about how he wanted to rotate off the lane and try to get PPD that fast level 6, but instead EHOME are well prepared for it as they want to make a move for Zai.
Ken gonna be caught, and Fear makes Zai too. They might go down your way. They do so much damage with that Whirling Death. Sumail coming in with some reinforcements, but they've already lost the tier 1 tower and no opportunity for revenge. EHOME shutting out evil geniuses in this laning phase so far, 5-0.
Sumail's gonna bottle Fear up once, just in case he does go down, but he's gonna be fine as he walks away. And Fenrir almost level 5 already. This laning phase has been all EHOME. They just predicted the movement up the top. They got 2 more kills than EG would have liked to give up, as Sumail unable to do anything to respond.
Oh, they're going to try and force out the lead. Old Chicken does have that Omni Slash, but they see Zai and realize with just that one defensive hero, it's not worth diving the tier 1 tower.
And Old Chicken gonna evade that arrow. So far, so good for EHOME. Once again, EG is still waiting on this level 6 from PPD at bottom.
Radiant's bottom tower
Here,
is
he's
under
going to show
attack.
himself and is he comes in, tries to interrupt the pull, but it's going to be caught. One spin already up, stun goes down, but he's caught. Ends up getting forfeited to the spot. And finally, Evil Geniuses get themselves on the board 7.5 minutes in.
They needed that desperately. Just slowing down anything from EHOME, trying to write
Radiant's
the game for
middle
themselves.
tower
He's
is
not the
under
biggest
attack.
pickoff, but you'll take it right now just to get on the board. PPD nearing that level 6, and I'd imagine that that's all they're waiting on right now. Universe is camped out in mid. Old Chicken, if he's not careful, he could go down to this combo. They don't have a ward here either. Instead, looks like he's going to contest with this top rune. Do EG match him? Might just be a free kill.
Yeah, they're going to have the Chronosphere set up. The arrow going to be on point here. Old Chicken going to be combo stunned. Can he actually live long enough to be able to get off a spin? Doesn't look like it. The stun just lasts too damn long. A second kill going the way of Evil Geniuses. A small windfall.
Dire's bottom tower is
They're
under
already
attack.
planning some retribution. They've got Old 11 and Lanham.
We talked about this
rotation
rotation.
goal. Here comes Spear. They're going to be able to catch him with a Primal Roar. Lanham starts beating onto him here, trying to get him pulled off, but not in time. Ice. Cuts him down to size with another Whirling Death. Now up at the top lane. Fenrir going to be next up. Samael, point blank arrow, lands that one, has the Starstorm
Dire's
ready to
middle
go.
tower
So Fenrir
is under
shoots it in the
attack.
trees, tries to go for the TP out. A prayer. Samael hunts him down inside
Radiant's
those
bottom
trees
tower
and
is
will
under
snag
attack.
the kill.
Still a core
Dire's
for a
middle
support.
tower
EG
is
aren't going to be
under
too
attack.
satisfied with that, especially with how slow this Axe's Blink Dagger timing is going to be. And EHOME just look to continue the pace right now. EG,
Radiant's
they're going to have to fight around this Chronosphere. This is a situation they wanted to avoid by trying to give Axe a lot of help up at top with this Shadow Demon. But quickly they realized they couldn't do anything, and now Axe's farming rotation, it's not going to be great for him as he's going to camp this bottom area, but so is EHOME.
Yeah, you wanted to be able to pick up the Blink Dagger right and be able to get ganks every single time Ice Blast is off cooldown.
Yes.
Instead, you're completely reliant on the Chronosphere's cooldown, which obviously much longer at 130 seconds right now at level 1. Not the place that Evil Geniuses wanted to be, because EHOME, knowing that it's purely a Chronosphere,
Radiant's
can either
middle tower
read
is
this
under
timing
attack.
really well and say Chronosphere's up, they're looking for a gank, or they can punish this sort of pace where if EG do get a pick off, EHOME can strike back really aggressively, knowing there's no chance for EG to
Radiant
team fight them
structures are
without the
fortified.
Chronosphere.
Yeah, this is a very early mid-tier 1 push by EHOME, as they're all going to make their way over, and this is exactly what you want. Connecting to the jungle, creating this area where EG can no longer farm. You can always just starve them out in terms of farm, and limiting their jungle at this point is EG.
Maybe.
Now they're bringing heroes up over. This might be too late though.
Axe is going to be Primal Roar. The disruption will buy him some time. He'll come out, but now the Warlock Golem is dropped down. And
Radiant's middle
here,
tower
he's
is
not
under
that
attack.
tanky. Already down to half HP. Can't quite get over the left. The Axe Blast not going to land either. The Chronosphere will secure the kill, but all that for one kill. Not
Here comes Ice.
Ice in the back line going straight for PPD. He wants this free kill and support, and he'll have it too. Also, Universe goes down. Zai's going to be up next. He's trapped between two EHOME heroes.
Oh, he's dodging so
Taking
far.
Dodge on the top rope, but surely not going to make it out. You can't dodge a Fire Blast from Lana. 4 down from Evil Geniuses, and
Mill's getting pretty low.
Maeve, if he caught here, has forced into the Moonlight Shadow.
Ice. He's gonna club him.
On point. Timbersaw not able to hit the Whirling Death, though. Uses it a bit too early. They had the wipe. Ice. Gets a little too excited, though.
Could have just trusted himself, but of course no way for him to know that as Sumail walking between this area. They have that ward available. And this is what we were talking about. EHOME have to play relentlessly, even with that Ice Blast available. You just have to commit to the fight and just hope that EG run out of steam because they don't have that fighting hero. This Axe is not in fighting shape quite yet. Fear has to at least farm that Blink Dagger before he can be effective. And EHOME are taking advantage of that.
So if EHOME is cutting off your Radiant jungle, right, and they've already taken your mid-tier 1 tower, they're controlling so much of the available farm to you on the Radiant side. How do you react as Evil Geniuses? Do you continue to try and fight EHOME and push them out of your own jungle, or do you completely abandon it?
I think Fear will have to try to go for farm. As in this jungle, we talked about it, EHOME, they're going to try to own this space of the map as Old 11 trying to burn that mana. Where's the follow-up though?
Universe still being slowed down. Old Chicken coming in. Ready to go, but not able to close the gap.
And this is so scary for EG because this Axe wants to continue to farm, but every single time it looks like his team is going to get into an engagement, so he quickly has to
Radiant's
start backing them up.
bottom tower is under
And
attack.
here, now that he's getting close to the Blink Dagger, that's going to be the timing that EG looks for to get aggressive once again in this game. And they're going to need it because this map is just being owned by EHOME right now.
Yeah,
Dire's
EHOME
middle
are punishing
tower is
Evil
under
Geniuses
attack.
for this delayed item
Radiant
timing.
structures are fortified.
They're going to be able to get a tier 2
Radiant's
off of
bottom
it
tower
before the
is under
15-minute
attack.
marker. And no
Radiant's
contest
bottom
whatsoever
tower
from Evil
has fallen.
Geniuses. If they get into another bad fight before the Blink Dagger, they're going to be kicking themselves. The Blink is really their only way back in to controlling this mid game. And they don't have the greatest late game either.
If you look at the vision game alone right now, EG, with the vision that they have, they see almost nothing on the map right now. And if you compare it to what EHOME sees, they see everything. They can go for the Roshan for free because they will spot the rotation coming in. They spot 2 heroes up at top. They know where the Faceless Void is.
Looks like Lonnie got caught by the arrow, will be nailed by the Ice Blast, and Sumail will take the kill. Now he caught the
Radiant's
Fire
middle
Blast
tower
underneath the
is
tier
under
1
attack.
tower. And that means he's going to have to TP back to safety. But EHOME, they call it a wash this day. Whatever. Lonham, not that big of a deal. He's their Ogre Magi. He's tanky. He's meant to take a lot of damage. He's meant to go down sometimes. We'll take ourselves in ages at 13.5 minutes.
I will say
Roshan has fallen
is,
to the
when it
dark.
comes to XP, they're not completely
Dire's
out of
top
it.
tower
And
is
even
under
gold, this is
attack.
doable. But they're going to have to start looking for the combination soon, as Faceless Void also doesn't have any farm, as he's been relegated to looking for fights with that Chronosphere. And now Old Chicken, Invisit up at top. Here's got that Blink Dagger now. This is going to be the first real test for EG.
Reveals himself on PvP, but no, he's going to be called up. They do have the Chronosphere. They want to keep Old Chicken from being able to get off the Omni Slash, but they decide against it, knowing they just do not have the physical damage required, and afraid that multiple EHOME members are going to be en route. So they back up, say that it's just going to be a bit of space for Sumail. Now the whole point blank arrow is going to be leading into an Ice Blast before reveal the Blink Dagger, Fear, and Shadow Demon. Zai will be able to help Sumail in claiming that pickoff, and now putting some pressure on this tier 1
Dire's
tower.
middle
Evil
tower is
Geniuses
under attack.
beginning to ramp things up.
Yeah, still 2 straight pickoffs only on the Ogre. You want to start getting aggressive on the cores. EHOME smartly only showing the support heroes ever. And this Warlock just sitting back, almost has that hand of Midas if he wants it. Book 2 completed on Old 11. And EHOME, they want to play around this Aegis. They're going to reset, wait for their Ogre to come back alive. Old Chicken's just going to wait for somebody to push out this top lane. As it seems like
Radiant's
EG are
top
reluctant to
tower
send
is under
anybody out
attack.
here. They have no vision around this area. Remember, is EG. Now they're going to send Zai forward just to kind of poke, see what's going on up there, soak up whatever experience he can. He grabs level 8.
We've already seen the success of Shadow Demon being an extra deep where he'll be able to set up certain ganks at times. Old Chicken instantly into the spin off of the disruption. Not going to chance getting hit by that arrow.
Yeah, look how much of the map right now that EHOME owns. They've got almost all of EG's jungle. They've got their own jungle to work with. They've created this kind of curtain around it. And they can just continue to make these expeditions into
Radiant's
EG's base
bottom
aggressively,
tower
as they
is
want this
under
top tier
attack.
2 tower. They're going to connect with this Juggernaut right now. They don't quite have Ice, and this might fool EG into thinking there's not 5 up here.
Mail's going to be dove all the way behind the tier 2 tower.
He's got
no
no
reason. He reads it now. Tries to get the lethal away, but immediately caught by the Primal Roar. Beaten down by EHOME. In fear, he tries to go for the response, gets the call, brings Old 11 back into the Ice Blast. But it only clips him,
Radiant's
resulting in
top
no
tower
real
is under
damage.
attack.
And EHOME, all their members looking healthy now as they go for yet another tier 2 tower.
And this is exactly what we talked about. EHOME want to force that Ice Blast reactively,
Radiant's top
and they'll just
tower
continue to
has
push
fallen.
on past it. Now they're going to connect for this mid towers. Ice. Wasn't even necessary for that top push. EHOME feeling confident all over the map right now, and EG left in a position where
Radiant's
they're going to have
middle
to set up
tower
something
is under
soon.
attack.
They can still play around this Chronosphere quite successfully, but there is going to be a time period where EHOME just overrun them.
6 to 11, EHOME looking for that final outer tower in mid lane. Tier 2 gonna go down, at least about to. They're left in its deny range. Don't want to risk getting caught by University's Chronosphere as he shows himself. And Universe will be the one to
Radiant's
take
middle
out that
tower
final
has
outer
been
tower with the
denied.
deny. EHOME, they know they are very ahead. And Gold don't need to worry about the net worth difference in that one whatsoever.
And the bigger fear right now for EG is they've got to start getting aggressive outside of their base, clear out the jungle, at least one point in the map. They're reluctant to do so while this Juggernaut has this Aegis, but PPD, got to be careful, getting a little bit too close to those boards.
Even if there was no ward there from EHOME, there's always some extra vision to be found in the Hawk.
Invisibility.
They're just taking so many liberties. They know that EG are grouped up as 5, farming camps together, and EG are trying to find whatever engagement that they can, but it's just not offered to them.
Evil Genius is seemingly never going to get a surprise initiation on EHOME at this point, as they are completely out of smokes. So they're gonna have to wait and find a better timing for it, I guess, but all the meanwhile, EHOME are playing one hell of an efficiency game. They are controlling the map entirely, not giving any jungle whatsoever to Evil Geniuses. Even that middle area, because the tier 2 tower is now down, even that area is controlled up by EHOME.
They're just straight pushing.
Oh, a little bit too far there. Old Chicken going to be pulled back in. Doesn't nail the ice block though. Old Chicken will eventually go down. That's the Aegis though. He's going to come back up. Chrono available. Every tower with the Chrono Sphere is going to be a block him back in the moment he shows up. Now the Warlock drops the golem on the PPD and Samel. They're already the Juggernaut down. Response being up, but now they're coming up. Right in his face. They're going to be down from Evil Geniuses, they see their moment now. They've got to get as many of these kills as possible to make the response from Fear well worth it. Samel chasing down Spinreal. He has EHOME as a nice enough damage, but he can't hit Warlock. Samel goes to the 5th remaining hero of EHOME, throws up the arrow. Not gonna latch though. Ice will survive to fight another day. But this game just got a whole lot more even, as that is almost a 3K gold swing off of Old Chicken's overextension into the base.
And you have to respect that EG high ground. They've got so many different abilities to work with. Look at that call from Fear, saving the fight single-handedly as Sumail, untouched throughout this entire engagement, just starts to chase down EHOME heroes. This is exactly what EG needed to get back into this game.
Evil Geniuses, this was rapidly looking like it was going to be a complete shutout. Based purely on some mistakes in the laning phase, EHOME were giving Evil Geniuses no quarter. No opportunities for a comeback until they went for that tier 3 push in the bottom lane, resulting in one hell of a team fight and potential comeback for Evil Geniuses. EHOME, though, still in control of this game, and even control the map as well. As you can see, Old 11 still taking over that Radiant jungle. On the opposite side, Ice controlling the Dire jungle in the top lane. And the mid-tier 1 tower is still up for EHOME as well. Roshan will eventually be
Old 11
picked up, but they have to make sure they don't get picked up first. Spear tries to get it, doesn't manage to snag the initiation. Now going to be counter-initiated on and left for dead as Ice just once more. He pulls back the Chakram eventually to be able to claim that kill on Fear. Looks for Zai, not able to get him just yet. PPD also going to complete his teleport out.
Decent scenario for EHOME is they managed to grab the axe. Thankfully for EG, they weren't able to lose any more heroes on the backs of that, but still, EHOME trying to reset into this game. They still have the next Aegis to go for with all the outer tier 2 towers. You'd imagine they want to go for the high ground with this next push. At the same time though, EHOME, they overrated how much that Aegis was going to do for them. They were hoping that EG would have to force the Chrono just to pop that Aegis onto this Juggernaut, but when he went down without the Chrono being expended, that was the best possible case scenario for EG.
EHOME splitting apart. They've only got 2 heroes in this top lane, and they may not be expecting a Moonlight Shadow and Chronosphere initiation. The Ice Blast is going to come in, revealing 2 of the heroes, but it's going to completely whiff. Universe, not seeing its opportunity to initiate, will back out. In fact, immediately teleporting down to bottom lane, but they're going to try and catch Ice with the Chronosphere, and they got him too. PPD blown up, but it's going to land a helping hand to control Ice. No opportunity for a Bloodstone deny here. Universe will claim the kill on Ice's Timbersaw, cutting the Bloodstone charges down to 9.
That was his first death in the game, completely away from the rest of his team. EHOME are just playing a little bit too cocky. Even that bottom tier 3 push, they overrated the Aegis, and now this time around, Ice feels like he's invincible with the Hood and the Bloodstone at such an early time, but we've got to respect the combination that EG have. That Chronosphere is almost always going to lead to a kill, as we saw earlier on.
Now forward, Samael, double charge, he gets some. That is so much burst damage. The Ice Blast led the way, and Samael sealed the deal with the blink-in double Starfall.
Sumail, 7 kills already to his name. He is willing EG back into this game as EHOME. They're looking a little bit sloppy, and they're starting to struggle a little bit. They're going to have to wait for this next Aegis before they want to make any aggressive moves like that again. And you can already see Ice relegated to his own jungle, not feeling nearly as confident as he once was as TPD. even feeling that he could get out into this jungle and ward, and that's when you know for a fact that Radiant are back in this game, and he feels that he can get this far out on the map.
EHOME, though, still have an opportunity to control this game once again. They've kind of been wrested from their hands, but if they can nail this next Roshan, which is coming up in another minute and a half, get that Aegis into their hands, they can control the game once again, but they need to be careful with these pickoffs. And that's why they're going to group up a little bit more. They're going to have 3 heroes mid behind Old Chicken as he pushes the wave with his Juggernaut. They're not even going past the river, it looks like. They're going to go for an invade into the Radiant jungle, seeing if they can catch anybody, and checking out the Roshan pit, I'm sure, to see if the Aegis is available.
He's just going to push out this top tower. He knows for a fact that EHOME are in this jungle. EHOME, I don't think they should find a need to defend this top tower anymore. The better thing to do is control up this jungle, deward
Dire's
everything
top
that you
tower
possibly
is
can,
under attack.
then simply go for the Roshan right after. The best way to do that is exactly what they're doing right now. So they're going to get a free tower out of this once
Dire's
again.
top tower has
Getting quite a
fallen.
lot on the map.
They are going to rotate Warlock down here.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that Fenrir is making this move. He should just start walking back down.
Yeah, okay. It looks like he's just going to get some vision to give him a little bit of a read on what exactly Evil Geniuses are doing with his top lane push. If they're... this 4-man smoke.
Take us.
They didn't go up. They're going to run straight into Fenrir, but
gonna
the
break.
Shadow is already popped, so they know someone's around. But Fenrir doesn't know how close he is to death. They're posing on middle lane, though. They see the Juggernaut. Now they're going to run into Fenrir right in the face of everybody from Evil Geniuses. They're almost going to immediately going to pass the Voice Staff just into space, but not good enough.
And EG doing such a good job right now with map control. Gonna reset EHOME again, as EHOME gonna be reluctant to fight without the
Arrow?
Warlock.
Dire's
Just a scouting
structures
arrow
are
there from
fortified.
Samael. Almost nails Lana. That tier 1 tower did is
And he almost has
Dire's
the
middle
Ethereal
tower
Blade
has
already.
been denied.
EHOME, at one point it looked like they were already on their way to a 10k lead, but instead, back down to 2500 XP, almost going the way of EG for the first time in this game. And this Roshan's going to be even more crucial as EG. They can fight around it though, they still have the Chronosphere.
double damage for Old Chicken. This is looking like a great Roshan attempt, and if a team fight ensues, it could still be good for them as well. The Chronosphere is up for the Faceless Void, but Fenrir, he has a big old team fight changing ultimate in his hands as well. Yeah, ready to go.
Old Chicken gonna get clipped a few times, gotta be careful. And now EG should start rushing over Universe. Find position, trying to get the Chrono opportunity is EHOME. They are so reluctant to give up this Aegis. They've got smoke for it.
They're actually going to smoke and push forward. Not a wraparound. They're just going to go straight into Evil Genius's jungle, see if they can catch anybody. And they've got him too. PPD going to be hit by the Primal Roar. This is a big pickup. It may be just a support, but we talked about in the drafting phase how important that Ice Blast is going to be for Evil Geniuses to be able to fight. And I'm not sure if they can contest EHOME to that Roshan now. See the push out. Ice. Maybe they're going to go for this kickoff.
Gonna buyback.
Buyback now, PPD. Immediately, EHOME. They get out of the pit. They know that Ice Blast is heading towards it. Sure enough, it lands now, but finds no members of EHOME inside the pit.
Still, EHOME, they don't have the Necro books up. They don't have the Roar. They're gonna have to be a little bit more patient around this. They still have that Warlock ultimate though, and they might just run into Universe. Who's gonna get it?
Oh, this is a big one too. The arrow's gonna be able to come in. The Primal Roar not there from all 11. Still another 30 seconds on the clock. They can't punish anybody from Evil Geniuses for a free kill on a Juggernaut.
One of the better cores to take down is EHOME again repelled, and it looks like now they're the ones playing chicken. They've got to get out of this area. This is now EG territory as EG are grouped up. Don't think they can take the Roshan for themselves though.
The prize is mine.
Without a Chronosphere, it seems unlikely. They also don't have that Moonlight Shadow 2 very big time team fight ults. But PPD gonna be caught once again, separates from his team ever so slightly, and pounced off by Old 11 and Old Lana. 14 to 16 now, as the fight
Radiant's
around the
middle
Roshan
tower
pit
is under attack.
continues. It's pickoff after pickoff. Neither team claiming a clear enough advantage to be able to take it. But maybe with this maneuver by Ice, he's going to push in the top lane all the way to tier 3. Blinks away just ahead of Fear. That would have led to his death, but momentary blink will keep him alive. Just ahead of Samael and Fear's wombo combo.
Yeah, now because they showed so many different heroes up at top. But when EHOME responded with, they go for the Roshan immediately. This was a very good maneuver by Ice. He knows that EG aren't going to just allow him to push on that top lane. And EG not even going to really bother going for it. They understand what they're doing.
And pretty much once they made that rotation up to the top lane, forced by Ice pushing all the way into the tier 3 tower, they said, we're giving up Roshan if EHOME are around that pit, but if we can claim the kill on Timbersaw, it'll be kind of worth it, but they don't even get that much. Ice's reactions just a bit too quick for Evil Geniuses.
I think EG, even with that top lane pushing it, if they had PPD, they probably would have made that Roshan. They probably wouldn't have gone up at top, and they would have contested Roshan no matter what, because they know Timber's in a position where he doesn't push fast enough. He's going to come back for that defensive fight. But without him available, he used his buyback already. No ultimate anyways in his name.
Yeah, PPD just as easily could have been the one to defend that top lane push and still had an impact for a Roshan fight, but it all comes from that pickoff that was found by the Beastmaster and the Ogre Magi. Now, EHOME, they gave up their advantage pretty heavily last time around when they had the Aegis, and it seems like they've learned their lesson. They're playing this a lot more cautiously, not even extending chicks past that corner on the top left of the map. Pushing back into the jungle, and looks like they're waiting for a couple items. They have that Aegis, but they're not immediately 5-manning. What exactly do you think EHOME is waiting for?
For this Warlock, you could go for the Aghanim if you want. There's not a whole lot that the Timber needs at this point because he's already the strongest fighting hero on his team. The Beastmaster's got 1900. He could go for a Vlad's if he wants his arrow clips, but Sumail far away
is under attack.
They're gonna fire at the Ice Blast up the top, back. But Ice already in position.
Feels like that Diffusal Blade is going to be necessary for Old Chicken. He almost has it to double blade Alacrity. He knows that there's that Ethereal Blade on Sumail's Mirana. That obviously makes his Omni Slash a whole lot less reliable unless he can diffuse off that Ethereal state.
Yeah, right now, EHOME all farming under the vision of this ward. EG, this is going to prompt them to push out a little bit into their jungle. PPD, a little bit weary to push out too far. He doesn't want to get picked off once again. That might just lead to a high ground for EHOME. As Yule Scepter completed by Ice.
It feels like in this game, the Chronos here is what's going to determine whether Evil Geniuses successfully hold their high ground against EHOME's push. If that's the case, does Universe try and go for a Blink Dagger here and deviate from the damage build he has on Love with Vlad's and Manta?
Up and top, Sumail went for it, but he was nowhere near that kill.
He's got Yules and a Blink. Ice is scuffed away.
EHOME making their way up. They're gonna try to sandwich this. PPD might just get caught here.
PPD and the hard 5 gets caught. A hard life for Ancient Apparition in this game, as time after time he goes for the warding and is not backed up well enough by his team. Gives away the free kill.
And I think EHOME want to make a play off of this, but they're just gonna push out the lanes. That was just a free pick off of that. In an ideal world, they transition off of it, but maybe they don't feel like it's enough time. And going high ground against EG's lineup is still very scary. For EG, what they really need to do is be able to blow that Aegis up without having to commit that Chronosphere. That's what made that fight so successful for them last time. They need that Chrono available to kill Old Chicken the second time around. At the same time, EG has very mobile cores, as that Mirana and the Stasis Void. Unless they get roared up in this game camp, I don't think they can die.
Yeah, it's just so easy for Evil Geniuses to punish the high ground from EHOME. They don't have a great, like, the Juggernaut is just kind of okay at being able to push into that tier 3 PH. The problem being is there's so little commitment from Fear. When he jumps in, hits that call right next to the tier 3 and pulls Old Chicken even farther back. If he dies back there next to that Rax area, then that just means his second life is going to be very little, as EHOME are going to struggle to be able to dive that deep into the base. So EHOME, quite trepidatious at actually pushing into the Evil Geniuses base, instead trying to secure themselves a very large network lead. And potentially, they could push this to a point where we are sitting here at 45-50 minutes and EHOME are sitting 10 to 15k ahead. Do you think EHOME actually has a lineup, though, to beat out Evil Geniuses late game?
When it comes to the ultra late game, when everybody's 6-slotted, potentially, they're going to need a Hex at some point on this Timbersaw. He's the natural builder for it. They're just going to need a second form of Disable from one of their cores. Sumail doesn't have that Lincolns. He's got to be careful.
Ice Blast cutting through the jungle there and got some information to Sumail just in time for him to be able to blink and lead himself away from the Beastmaster.
Looks like EHOME just using this Aegis to farm out. Yes, now it is gone. There was no tier 2 towers for them to go for. EG farming very aggressively around the map now. And the lead is still going quite heavily in EHOME's favor because they just have more to work with right now in this jungle.
Geniuses are still finding areas for them to be able to push out and try and match the farming efficiency of EHOME. Thankfully, they've got some mobile cores like Universe's Faceless Void, who can spend some time in the dire jungle.
I think they should start thinking about smoking, or at least focus on start to pick off.
For Evil Geniuses?
Yeah, but the concern is that if they run into EHOME as 5, they could just straight up lose the game. Every lane is being pushed out consistently by EHOME, and that's what you want to do when you're winning your far ahead. Like, you don't feel like you can go for the high ground immediately. You starve EG, make them think they're always 5 in your jungle, then EG feels hesitant to make any sort of plays. Like, you see, they're even backing out of score right now because they don't feel confident about this, but now they're going to make the play. And they're hoping to run into solo heroes here. Sumail going to try to make the connection to them after pushing out this bottom wave.
The hope being that Sumail took a small risk pushing out that top lane, but as it approaches the tier 2, hopefully someone from EHOME will show, and this smoke rotation could be huge.
They're split up.
Be able to get the Chronosphere, but no, the flip away! All left escaped, and it's going to be a lot of cuts there, but they already got Old Chicken cut down by Fear. They're still going to chase down a lot of it as well. They managed to get in the bash up just before the Fire Blast. 2 down as EHOME are caught with their pants down. Rotation up from Ice meant that he wasn't there with the team. And while that may have been a fantastic escape, jump forward. Oh, Sumail gets him! He gets there on the Vector behind the tier 2! And Evil Geniuses once corralled inside their base with nowhere to go, nowhere to farm. They are now being the one pushing into a tier 2 of EHOME.
Sumail has just been unbelievable for EG. Shades of that TI fun 5 run that they made. They need him to be a star player. He's delivering so far. 10-1 as EG now on the offensive, despite the fact that at one point they were almost down 10k. Now they're making their move forward. They sense weakness in EHOME's lineup.
And the Illusion Army advances. Uses his Shatternina with a disruption to create even more illusions of Universe's Faceless Void. No, the double hit! They're almost gone! Ghost Scepter now! But it's still down! He gets the kill on Fear as a rebuttal, but EHOME, they now have to buy back and try and chase down the Heroes of Evil. Geniuses looks like they made it on Sumail. Hold 11, slowing him down, possibly down so much for this. Roar. They use the chaotic offering from Warlock as well, dropping the Golem, but they did manage to get the kill. Looks like they may be able to get Universe as well. He's got the gem too. He snatched that one away from Old Lana, but now he has to cut his way through the trees, hoping beyond hope that he could escape from EHOME, but no chance in hell.
And you saw just how much EHOME wanted those 2 cores. They even dropped down the rock on Sumail's head.
And an ironic USA chant coming out from the Chinese side. As the crowd definitely getting into this game. Evil Geniuses lose 4. EHOME lost though. You said big time ultimates being used there. The chaotic offering, they had to blow a buyback as well on Beastmaster.
Yeah, the issue right now is that this Warlock, he wants to use that ultimate as aggressively as possible, as deep into this EG base as he can, but instead he's being forced to use it either reactively or not at all, and EG are going to be satisfied with that, because they can just keep resetting these team fights. They feel comfortable fighting around this AA Ice Blast. They've done a wonderful job of it so far, but at some point EHOME, with this lineup, they want to get aggressive, and they're starting to make moves right now. I do fear for them though. They've got to start protecting the 5-man from EG.
Ice Blast being used just to kill a Hawk. That's how important Vision Game is. This close game 1 between EHOME and Evil Geniuses. Now EG have to deal with not 1 Golem, but 2. Chaotic Offering being upgraded now by the Aghanim Scepter.
EHOME looking around. They've got this Hawk in a really good position. Just continuing to scout. It's going to make EHOME feel a little bit more comfortable as EG starting to make the push out into this mid lane. They're even going to use the Moonlight Shadow just to scout ahead as a replacement for their smoke. They're not going to find anything in the jungle though as EHOME. Now they're starting to think about grouping up.
Yeah, they sit down there at their bottom tier 1 as 3, and the other half of their crew, Ice, and Old 11, are sitting on the far left-hand side of the map, just in front of that tier 3 tower, hiding in the trees, trying to keep that creep wave pushed forward, just like Ice did earlier in the game, where he forced a rotation out of Evil Geniuses and secured themselves a Roshan. He's looking for round 2 here. See if he can force that rotation and open up the Aegis and Cheese for EHOME.
And EHOME should know that something is up right now, because EG still aren't defending this top tower out. It's taken well over half of his HP. Now they're going to show themselves mid.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
He's with the rest of his boys in the mid lane as a 5-man crew. It looks like they may just try and pressure EHOME's base. As the tier 3 is gone already in that mid lane, EHOME will be forced to defend. Now the initiation comes in here, gonna be able to find Lana with the Ice Blast in the call. They've got him. But EHOME will have the opportunity to respond. BKB now activated off the flag. The chaotic offering drop up in the corner here, controls the whole chicken form, as well as Old 11. He'll be torn apart. And Universe gets one, looks for two. Getting low, he's low, but he's now spin. He pops out. Universe, he backs away, waiting for his reinitiation. Samael saves himself with the Ethereal Blade for a moment, but the perch goes down. Now leads himself into the trees, and will be able to TP
Ice
out.
juking right now.
Ice trying to put his...
He's getting away right now.
No, he gets him eventually. He couldn't dodge forever. Ice. He hunts for Samael in the trees, but he's already gone 3 down from Evil Geniuses. EHOME, a successful defense. And it cost them the chaotic offering, but it may have just gotten them the Roshan. 2 up for EG. The PPD is about to come back up, but they've got the Juggernaut. They may just be able to do this.
Very well done by EHOME. Once again, there's also EG going to the push. And now, with this Aegis, I think Old Chicken is going to feel a lot more comfortable. They're going to fire the Ice Blast.
That's tough. Moonlight Shadow use, but Old Chicken's Juggernaut managed to scout out the use there by Samael. So EHOME will back away from the pit for now.
Yeah, they're just going to reset as 5, I think. EG in a position where they don't want to give up this Aegis if possible. Chronosphere is still on cooldown though for another 20 seconds. So for them, they're hoping that EHOME just stalls out. That's what's happening right now is Juggernaut just going to push in a little bit midway before the people to deal with it. But without pressure in this top area, EHOME, they can't really open up the Roshan to keep themselves quite red. Maybe we see a team from Ice at the top to set up this eventually.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. He's got the boots of travel ready to go. He actually went back to base for the BKB in order to counter that pressure at the top lane though. And we've talked about this a couple of times. As Raven's side, instead of trying to constantly go back and deal with the pressure of the top lane every single time you're being split push, and that obviously opening up Roshan, instead, you are the ones who try and put the pressure in by going 5-man down mid, keeping EHOME inside their base and out of the pit.
Yeah, Dota's largely a process of elimination game. If you don't see anybody pushing in top, then you know that they either have to be contesting for the next objective, or they're in your jungle right now. And Ice is going to find that out from his teammates. Creep Wave is coming in here, going to show himself up at top, and that might just prompt EHOME to leave their base and start getting aggressive for that Roshan. You see Ice TP already, and they see 2 heroes coming up here. This might just mean a free Roshan for EHOME.
See, Evil Geniuses are already pretty quick with dealing with that top lane push and could rotate fast enough to stop EHOME.
They're gonna go right now.
Yeah, EHOME, they're not immediately going into the pit though. They're sitting around their secret shop area. Will be scouted out by PPD's Ice Blast.
And this is a very good way for them to deal with this top lane, just sending them these Axe Illusions.
Moonlight Shadow now being used. They think they can catch EHOME off guard here. The smoke. EHOME's
the
gonna
high
go
ground.
straight into Universe. He's gonna try and get the Crumbin' Tree before snap. Not fast enough. They managed to lock down Old 11 too, but a chaotic offering. Now the response is Universe forcing himself away. Universe, Ice pops the BKB, almost popping PPD. Will be able to take him in due time. His old chicken cleans him up instead. Universe now with the TP out inside the trees. Evil Geniuses only lose their support Ancient Apparition as EHOME used a chaotic offering, but it looks like it's still enough. Without the Chronosphere, they can go back and go for the Roshan.
Yeah, and we talked about the fact that they needed that second lockdown factor coming out of this Timber Saw. At some point, he's going to have to get that X, and right now he's got that Yule Scepter, but he's going to have to think about replacing it very quickly, as maybe if they had a Hex there, they could probably kill Universe or Fear, and Fear already popped his BKB at the beginning of that fight.
Roshan down to half health. Evil Genius is going to try and make the best of this situation. They've got two pushing up the top lane. Ice. Obviously not needed inside the Roshan pit. He'll contest top lane. He's got the backup too with Gold Scepter. He'll slow down Fear. He's got Lana coming in. The Blade Mail activated by Fear, but it's already so damn low. Ice. The second Chakram cleans them up. Side next. Chakram for days. Evil Geniuses will drop two and maybe a third. Samael already being chased down by Old Chicken. BKB being used. 21-27. EHOME, the big win there. Take Roshan, get two at the top lane, winning in both objectives, both north and south.
EHOME finally starting to recover from that mid game where it looked like EG was gonna take this game back into their own hands. And now they're pushing down mid with this DD Juggernaut who's bloodlusted as well. He's got the Aegis, he feels incredibly confident. But EG, they've still got this Chrono Spirit available. They could just pop one of the cores, but they don't want to expend anything on this Juggernaut.
5K on Eyesight Knight's Timber Saw. Potential new item coming in. He's gonna again push out that top lane Fearless as he approaches the tier 3 tower.
Yep.
Double Chakrams, pushes back Samael and gets his team space to be able to push in both mid and close the bottom lane.
All three lanes pushed out now by EHOME. They're just daring EG to make a move outside their base right now. EG, they're just going to keep sending in illusions back at the bottom wave.
Now this is not going to be an Aegis wasted, right? EHOME, that second Aegis that they got, that was the farming one and that made sense. But surely, with the BKBs they've gotten into their hands now, they're going to go high ground with this one, right?
Yeah, I think with Aegis Cheese, it's a pretty good opportunity. You have all the abilities that you want, all the items. Old Chicken has 5K on him, but Ice, I think once you buy these next items, they'll feel comfortable. But at the same time, you're still fighting against this EG high ground. Ice Blast, plus the Axe Call and this Faceless Void Chrono. The best time to use them is defensively, inside your own base. And I think that's what EHOME are fearing, another repeat of what happened at bottom.
Yeah, you said the best way to really counteract the heroes like Ancient Apparition, right, is being able to face rush them, get in their face, make it so they don't have that setup of Chronosphere into Ice Blast, but hard to do that when you're going into high ground and don't have the vision inside the base. Evil Geniuses waiting and waiting for EHOME to make their first approach. EHOME not going for it just yet. Keeping all the lanes pushed in, farming away. Not sure what exactly they're waiting for.
Yeah, now they're trying to form up.
Any item, looks like, yeah.
They'll just send the illusions in. Start beating on this tower. Start to slow siege from this Juggernaut.
You've got the Illusion King himself, though, that's happy to counteract some of those illusion pushes. Just hold up, those down. Juggernaut's illusion playing against him now as he pushes out a wave.
And now he's just gonna keep maxing forward as Fear goes straight off of Fear. They actually go for the Hearing Blade. Dagger pop, Old Chicken somehow still alive. He's gonna be perched up, low down, but he gets the blink away. Now the Chaotic Offering and disruption by Universe Prime. But no, Fear eventually will go down. The tier 3 is now being assaulted by the double golem. Does have that buyback available, and he was going for the play where they can just pop Old Chicken's Aegis and then use the Chrono as a follow-up, but EG repelled back, and the margin for victory in that fight was so close. Oh no, now another initiation, another disruption, Ice Black over the top, there's just not quite enough damage to kill anybody significant. They only get Mana in the back line. Old Chicken dealing with Fear. He pops a blade mail to BKB and is fighting up against Ice. The dagger comes in. They take away the Aegis of the Juggernaut. But round 2, Evil Geniuses now have to deal with a full HP Juggernaut. Disruption, arrow goes down, but the spin was up. Old Chicken, he retreats as Fenrir covers his tracks with the upheaval down on Ice. Almost gets PPD, but a force tap save actually gets PPD away. Old Chicken blinks forward, goes for side. The Invis might be able to save him. Serious on him, low enough, and the dagger wins them off. Ice, left inside the bounce with nobody to be able to save him. He's going to drop right there. EHOME on the retreat as Evil Geniuses hold against an Aegis and T. And the Sumeo take-on is doing so much work for them. Even with that Aegis unable to be popped in the forced buyback onto this Axe, EG just simply outfought them inside the base when it mattered. PPD baited them so far in. and not worth it for EHOME at all. It's now they're going to lose some confidence. They don't have this Warlock Chaotic offering, and EG going to start pushing forward.
I mean, if you look at the HP of a hero like Juggernaut, their primary carry, he just doesn't have a whole lot to work with in the first place. And then when you have things like the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast taken away, a huge percentage of his HP, and then Axe, he's able to take him down when he's below 425, 400 kill threshold right there. It actually means the Juggernaut, he drops maybe 500, 600 HP, and he's almost in the kill zone for Evil Geniuses. It means EHOME, they just don't have that kind of high ground guaranteed push in their hands. And Evil Geniuses, they have every opportunity to punish EHOME now. They've got the Moonlight Shadow and Smoked Up. They start approaching EHOME's base.
Pretty unbelievable. Right now, if you just look at the metrics, 15k net worth lead for EHOME, experience in a similar direction, but it doesn't feel like that at all. EG have just opened themselves up a win condition as this Juggernaut is forced to buy back. If they kill him once, the game could just be over. And what a turn of events for EHOME.
Evil Genius is placing everything they have into the initiation. You see Universe picking up the Shadow Blade just for the opportunity for a better Chronosphere, as that could single-handedly win them the fight. Now it's EHOME's turn to push out. They've got a smoke. They've got the drive to take over this game again. Not let Evil Geniuses bully them around. They're getting closer and closer. Force that forward. And a long-range slow from Monim will catch PPD. And they actually get him. Dual Scepter goes down. Looks like they're going to leave PPD to die. The hard 5 position pops the game once again.
Not what they were looking for at all.
No. They wanted so much more than that.
This poor Axe, even below this Ogre in terms of net worth, but still making such impact as Fear. He's had a lot of game-saving calls so far in this game, but it's been Sumail dealing out all the damage in the game necessary for EG to stay alive. Dagon 5 now completed for him, and EHOME do not feel comfortable pressuring with that item available.
And that's initiation from the Shadow Blade may be nice, but the Silver Edge, what it can do to its Timber Saw, cutting away that reactive armor, could be even better.
Still think EHOME need a second form of control. They have to pop the Chaotic Offering alone to get any kills. Their only other stun on top of that is the Ogre Ice, the Fire Blast, or the Beastmaster Roar. Right. Not the best form.
He's kind of doing the best he can. He's got the Force Snap, he's even got the Ether Lens. Oh, the Chronosphere up there in the top lane. Looks like they've got Ice Ice Ice. Evil Geniuses swarm the carry of EHOME. Take him down, and they've got 60 seconds now to punish EHOME for that death.
And EHOME, I mean, they must be really confused right now, because they should be winning this game. All of their cores have the necessary amount of farm to win. Their supports aren't doing shabby either. You've got a Midas and an Aghanims completed on this Warlock. At 49 minutes, maybe you can expect them to have a refresher soon after. But other than that, they should be winning fights, but EG are just outplaying them right now as they're going to start their aggressive move forward. This Juggernaut still doesn't have buyback available for another 4 minutes. And EG, they can kill him once. That could just mean the game for EHOME, despite leading almost this entire game.
Taking up that last freak wave before they go high ground. 20 seconds left for the Timber Saw. EHOME, they're going to need to find a way to hold their melee racks in mid until Ice 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 is back up. Range racks are already being taken down by Illusion itself. No commitment from EG, and are still going to reap the rewards.
Yeah, right now, beating on this range rack.
Limiting moves.
So reluctant to make any sort of move in first rack today.
Universe and his Manta Illusions, and Zai with his Disruption Illusions together. They form a blue army. Evil Geniuses taking away down the range racks. Evil Geniuses can commit absolutely nothing there, no risk. Take an objective, back away before Ice 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 is awake again and ready to fight.
And now this Juggernaut has that form of control that we were talking about. Got that Abyssal Blade with the blink.
Do you think you still need a sacrifice on EHOME as well?
I mean, any sort of follow-up initiation would be really good. Ice 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 still holding on to this Yule Scepter. If he sold it, still wouldn't be in position to buy that Hex, and I think that's the real concern right now, because he needs buyback.
Right.
When Old Chicken doesn't.
He's only got 6 Bloodstone charges. With his Infinite, he's going to be able to find Lana. He slows him down. Yule Scepter is going to be used. Lana trying to get away. He's got some backup now as EHOME members swarm in. Moonlight Shadow being used by Evil Geniuses, and they're actually going to look for reinitiation. No chance though. EHOME have already gone up to their high ground.
EG gonna reset, but look how aggressively they're playing. Look at the warding. They know they're trying to trap EHOME in their base, force EHOME to make some sort of careless maneuver. This is the first time I've seen EG play such aggressive wards. They've got all the vision in the world to work with. Meanwhile, EHOME, they're gonna have to rely on these hogs.
EHOME, they desperately need some counter vision down because again, Universe is going to find his opportunity. He gets the Silver Edge, runs into old 11. He needs it worthy with the corner here. Ice Blast combo to take him down. Right hand side, Snail is going to be caught. Meanwhile, the Tinker Stop has got a brawl. They get over Chicken. He's getting beat down right now. Chicken's dropping down to half HP, but on the side, holding up here, still be able to take him down. Looks like with Lonham's help, they also get the Shatter Demon. Now the healing ward heals him back up a little bit more. The magic damage comes in. Old Chicken spins off the damage from Snail. He's now caught by the Primal Roar. Surrounded by Golem. And he's down. 4 dead from Evil Geniuses. EHOME. They've now got the pit under control. Only losing their Warlock. A beauty of a team fight for EHOME.
These bloodlusted Warlock Golems doing so much work in this fight. As EHOME now going to pick up an Aegis. They're in prime position once again as EG just got completely sandwiched.
They certainly did. Evil Geniuses, they thought they were just going to be able to get one takeoff there. With Universe leading away the Silver Edge amidst the chronosphere on the big initiator of the Beastmaster, and yes, they got that kill, but they're fighting right outside Tier 3 towers, even next to a Tier 2 at that bottom lane, meaning the buyback of the Beastmaster. Very effective manages to catch the nail with a Primal Roar, and resulting in EHOME getting the Aegis achieved, and now just outside of Evil Geniuses'
Radiant's bottom barracks are
they're
under
gonna go for the
attack.
melee rack. Ice already uphill. Starts eating away at it with his limited damage. He's not truly a right-click forward, but he's gonna try and make the best of it with his taking it. They don't want to commit to start knowing that old Chick is already making out hot. He doesn't have an Aegis in mind. Oh! That magic damage! He just exploded!
EG had to use the buyback, but still manages to hold on to their rack.
Radiant's top
EHOME
tower is under
walk
attack.
away.
They get it here.
Radiant's
Tower out
top
of it,
tower
so
is falling.
very large push at top lane. And Creeps will take away that Tier 3, so at least EHOME gets something for it.
Every single time I think that EHOME have control of this game, EG managed to battle back. Then the same thing happens as they wrest control away. But with this Aegis available for EHOME, they're hoping to put the stamp on this game. A lot of gold built up on all their cores, but they have to respect the damage right now that comes out of this Mirana. This Axe can kind of just blink in, force that Berserker's call out, prevents him from going for his own BKB. Refresher now completed on this Warlock.
Which is why, right, that the initiation is so easy for EG in the high ground. Right? They just blink in, hit a Berserker's call. It's not heavy commitment, but it reaps a lot of rewards. Making sure that enemy, if he catches them, maybe can't use the BKB, and then we see Sumail just blow him up with magic damage on top of the Ice Blast. But EHOME, they don't have too many options to respond. They're reliant on their quick reaction to BKB to be able to get off that magic immunity before the initiation comes from EG. Or they need really, really good counter initiation from Fenrir, and that has just been extremely upgraded with that refresher.
The big thing right now for EG is when they're defending the high ground, it's so much easier to structure your fights. You simply say, how many times have they done this in a row? The Axe will say, okay, I'm going to go blink call him, just get ready. They drop everything on him. They use the S-Blade and the Dagon. Low cooldowns on both those abilities. They pop one hero off the bat, then EHOME feels reluctant to take a fight, and EG managed to reset. But when it comes to those fights outside the base, when EG are pushing up and they can't structure things like that, that's when things get really good for EHOME, is they can just make the fight as chaotic as possible. EHOME trying to catch EG unawares, but EG, again, they want to play this high ground game for as long as that Aegis is up.
Plus, they do not have buybacks on Sumail and his Mirana, Fear and his Axe, as well as Zai on the Shadow. They know they're at a severe disadvantage despite holding earlier. They can't afford to risk anything here. EHOME with the Aegis, Cheese, and only one buyback on cooldown. And that's going to be old 11 Beastmaster.
There is no buyback though, like you said, on this Mirana. That's going to be the big one for EHOME. And with this Aegis and Cheese available, now they're going to simply say, alright, we have to be able to win this fight. The double chaotic offering, but Universe looks like he wants to make an aggressive play forward.
Moonlight Shadow, they're actually gonna just thrust it. Oh, fear. He doesn't get any time. He could be punished here. Not quite EHOME, not dropping anything just yet. Bender sitting way in the back. He wants to make sure he's not caught by that Kronos here. He knows how important that chaotic offering double drop is going to be. Here, trying again to call. Not able to snag on Chicken. Keeping the distance. Now the side fire. Taking forward on the Universe. The Primal Roar follow up the chaotic offering. They're dropping everything they have. The Universe hasn't dropped just yet. He gets the time walk away. One chaotic offering used, and melee racks will fall. If Dave claims Universe, though, could have been so much sweeter. Now EG has the opportunity to respond. Jump forward from Old Chicken, threatening TPT. Now Universe, he sees the opportunity. He's got a Chronosphere. He's a little damage. And got the damage skill above one of them. Second chaotic offering, don't interrupt the call. Here, he's going on the Ice, the BKB activated. They want to be able to lock down Universe. The side device buys them a little bit of time. A back up, time block, and Universe. Again, back to the bounce, but EHOME still control the base. They're going to go for the tier 3 tower. The Golem beating it down to half HP. The arrow comes out. A clean whip, and EHOME dance away. The Golem's being dealt with now, and now a retreat. Oh, no! Serial play and attack it. Pulls him up now. Ice is going to be able to tie by They got him. Old Chicken comes back with life number 2, but he's already fine. Ice in the dirt. And EG, they're going to keep pressing for more. They're going to get Bender here. They're going to move the travel level 2. They're going to be able to get Bender easily. Samael he'll fling forward. Leaps up as well. Looking for the arrow. It's on the mark almost, but Old Chicken a little bit too fast. He blinks away as well.
Buyback used on this Timbersaw, trying to deal with his top lane. EG only lose that bottom side of racks in exchange for 2 kills on EHOME, and very well done by EG. As they don't lose too bad there, as there's not going to be enough time for them
Spoil that.
to win one up. Refresher was used as well on this Warlock. Both cheeses available still though.
Almost an 8,000 gold sweep. That last team fight where Evil Geniuses were able to defend their mid lane of racks. However, getting to a point where even gold objectives, these things may not matter as much as the buybacks. They're on these 2 teams. And Evil Geniuses, their buybacks are still on cooldown for another minute and a half for most of them. So they can't quite go for a high ground push. They can't do anything while Fenrir is dead. EHOME are going to be able to get all 5 heroes back up before anything happens. They do have a critical buyback though on cooldown. Ice. His is down for 6 minutes, and this may determine the story of this game. Evil Geniuses know that buyback is on cooldown. They know their own buybacks are coming up. Evil Geniuses, do they seek to punish that window?
I think for EG, it's difficult because if you lose any sort of fight right now, the game just ends, but they want to try to make an aggressive maneuver before EHOME can just take another Roshan. Trying to catch them unawares right now, hoping that somebody from EHOME is cut alone farming once again.
That ever-present dire side advantage has to be weighing on Evil Genius's mind. Those Aegis and cheeses are practically being given away to EHOME for free, just simply due to the positioning and innate advantage of the dire side. Evil Geniuses, they can't just sit on their laurels. They can't just let EHOME take those extra lives for free. That's why they're trying to be aggressive. They don't find anything though. They make the invasion into the dire jungle. Nothing to be found there. As EHOME are patiently waiting inside of their base. They know they can't risk Ice's life at this point. He's got no buyback and he's only got 4 Bloodstone charges.
Yeah, if you think about why it's so big that you even take a single thread of racks at this bottom lane, it's because EG constantly have to come back for it. And if there's any point where the Roshan spawns while they're dealing with that bottom wave, then EHOME knows their intentions, how far in they are, and they can respond accordingly. For EG, they almost always have to keep an eye on this bottom wave, send somebody back, and it just forces EG in a position where they have to make their jumps almost immediately, and EHOME are almost always just going to play off of the fact that they've got better info.
EHOME feeling good enough to be able to push out. They see Samael in the bottom lane. That would be a big pickup. Ice was sitting almost in range to lead with a Scythe of Ice initiation, but Samael backed himself away. He pushed that lane up just a tad. PPD, not again. He may be far out. It is gated on. They take the Primal Roar. Will go for it with the unflash and the disrupt. Now the Chronosphere for fun. He still survives. He got no shelter, and he may be able to lay on an Ice Flash. Double chaos offering being dropped by Universe's head. As well as Samael almost being beaten to a pulp by those golems, will be able to leap himself away. Universe being kited. A Timber Chaw will be able to Timber Chain himself backwards. Golems will approach the Radiant base here. Evil Geniuses going to have to defend against them here, actually calling them up. And drops a lot of HP. A jump forward there from Universe, poking at EHOME. And again, Ismail's gonna come forward. He's getting back. Oh no, that slice is down. 100 seconds of buyback ready. EHOME, they sense weakness though. They're gonna force that one.
You're not
The
stopping
buyback now, they're gonna go for Sun. He's being gone on by Old Chicken, but then Old Chicken's up over extended himself. He's gonna be first up. Calls up, slows down. 100 seconds for him as well. EHOME on the retreat. They forced a buyback from Evil Geniuses. Now it is EG's turn to force a buyback out of EHOME.
I think EG have to go for this. There's no refresher ultimate available on Fenrir. They're starting to ping forward. They want to get aggressive. Universe almost has that Bloodthorn available as well. He is getting so strong.
Chronosphere up in 25 seconds. Buyback on cooldown for Ice for 2.5 minutes. And they can force a buyback on the Juggernaut as they push high ground. This is their best opportunity to turn this game around. 33 to 36, 62 minutes in. Razor thin margins here between these two teams.
Yeah, now the TP is going to come in from the Faceless Void. At minimum, they want to force the buyback on this Juggernaut. EHOME might even just give up this rack and force EG to go top.
Here comes the Illusion Army. The boys in blue lead a blue army onto the melee racks. They're going to be able to get that one for free, just like we talked about last time.
They've got to go top to force this Jug buyback, though.
Little commitment, but a melee racks in mid is not enough. They need more. That's why Universe is going to show itself in top lane. Starts going on to it, Primal Roar goes down, but EHOME still not committing that buyback to the Juggernaut. They know they can give up objectives, but the buybacks are sacred at this point, and they will manage to keep it in place, it looks like, as Evil Geniuses are going to be forced away.
Really want to get this rack to force the buyback, though.
Melee racks still up at half HP, but they're afraid. Disruption on this command. Illusion start jumping forward here. Melee racks dropping lower and lower, but the Juggernaut up in 5 seconds. Evil Genius call it quits. They took the mid melee and the top ranged, but they did not force the buyback out of the Juggernaut. EHOME sacrificed those objectives to keep the big picture whole.
Yes, that is very good play by them. It was disciplined is what it is. As EG was just trying to poke around, made it even look like they were going to go all into that melee racks, but Old Chicken folds that thought. He doesn't go for the buyback, and now EHOME's still in a strong position. They didn't have that chaotic offering refresher or combination that's been working out for them.
And again, we come to our old friend, Mr. Roshan, and Aegis in Cheese is what he's carrying. EHOME, they want that advantage for themselves. They've got that dire side advantage. They've got the bottom lane pushing in constantly, keeping EG, their heads turned towards that south side, making sure there's no more objective damage done to their base.
And the pace of this game alone is unreal. 64 minutes in, 33 to 36. Almost kill a minute. Another Ice Blast goes into the Roshan pit.
I mean, EHOME, they can bide their time. They can wait till Evil Geniuses start coming closer to mid. EG, though, they're not falling into that trap. Again, just like last time where they pushed down mid, this time they're going to be putting pressure on top lane to force EHOME back inside their base. And maybe Evil Geniuses can get the positional advantage for the pit.
Yeah, without a glyph available, I think EHOME is going to be reluctant to ever just let this top tower push in. Ice, though, afraid without any vision that if he continues to go forward, maybe EG will just be waiting for him, but he's going to push in this wave now. And now EHOME, they're starting to clear out their own jungle. Good move by them. They can even start walking towards the Roshan pit themselves as this top lane is pushed in enough. This bottom wave is doing the same thing. EG gonna have to deal with that. Now EHOME make their way down, and as soon as anybody from EG starts farming bottom, that'll confirm for EHOME that this is a free Roshan.
Yeah, Beastmaster with his Hawks, he is always able to get vision inside the pit. Evil Geniuses do not have the same kind of advantage. They've been forced to use Ice Blast and occasional Scout. And as we see here, EG either don't know that EHOME is taking Roshan right now, or they feel they're not able to contest it. Either way, it means that EHOME will be able to get the Aegis and Cheese for themselves, and EG are going to be forced into yet another high ground defense, but they just leave objectives at the entire time, and there's no clear win condition for them just yet. EHOME are full up on buybacks, excluding a minor amount of gold on the Beastmaster and Ogre Magi still lead.
can. This top lane gonna start pushing in. I think Ice has to be the one to make his way over and just save his boots of travel and come on over. Because if they're not careful, Contract could just fall for them. Now they're starting to push. They're starting to march down this mid lane, and EHOME, they're pinging out this top. I think that Ice just pushes this in 1 or 2 waves in, then he meets the rest of his team.
Don't want to risk Evil Geniuses pushing out with the Moonlight Shadow and getting aggressive in that mid lane. EHOME still need to stay here with us. It's actually going to be our mid laners who are going to join the top lane push. Instead, Evil Geniuses remain resolute. They stand on high ground, not trying to probe out just yet. They get some extra initiation items. They have Fear now with the Shadow Blade as well.
And more of you.
Minute and a half until Samael has his buyback. His life is paramount for now. EHOME, they have a very small window here where they can try and punish that.
Right now for EG, you have to sacrifice the other heroes who do have buyback, so Sumel's not caught out, and they should just frontline with the rest of them.
Disruption on the Axe will spawn some pretty good illusions to push back the top lane. As those illusions spin back on the creep. EHOME though, mid, top, and bottom lane all pushing into the Genius's face.
Take this forward. Gonna be a kill to watch, as the Chronosphere Ice Blast combination in this late game is still so effective, and he's got a Bloodthorn now. So damage not even an issue for Universe.
Certainly not.
Who to travel 2 on Old Chicken. No other really big items need to filter in. They've got the Aegis available, but it's not really on an ideal hero. As Old 11's the one that had to pick it up, and everybody else is full slaughter.
So we've seen how EG defend, right? To call onto the front line hero and then hold on to the Chronosphere. EHOME push forward, they punish and catch multiple heroes. How did EHOME actually push high ground though? How did they structure their team fight?
Hey, you saw the last time, they just sent the Manta illusion forward, they played around and danced around that axe. When Fear missed it the second time, they just immediately initiated onto him.
So see if they can bait Evil Geniuses into a false initiation. All meanwhile pressuring with these illusions. And you can see the range tracks takes a very small amount of damage. EG, they know this illusion game well, and that's why they're going to push out. 5-man smoke straight into Ice. They're going to catch him. Here's going to be able to get the call. The axe blast, and the burst damage is coming. Ice dead, and BKB activated. Oh, there's the Cruel! He's locked out 3! Now picks up the TP and Will as well! Ice, he's not going to be here for this fight! Chaotic offering being dropped out immediately. BKB being activated by the Juggernaut. The disruption it buys Universe a bit of time, and now he's actually locked out. Chaotic offering number 2 being dropped on Fear. They take him out on the left-hand side. Old 11. He gets hit by his Ethereal Blade. Dagging as well. Still not enough. Sharp. They get him. Finally, the Aegis down. Oh my god. They got him. Taking his ball. He has a buyback though. And here comes the second life of Old 11. He doesn't have a buyback just yet. Now Ice. Everybody coming back in for the another buyback. He goes to travel level 2. They're going over Universe. He's dead. 2 minutes off the clock. Samael is so they need to escape with Samael. He can't make it though. Down for 2 minutes. He's forced into a buyback as well. But it's a 4 versus 5. And Fear, he's not even inside the base. He doesn't have boots and travel for another 10 seconds. He can't get home just yet.
And they desperately need him for this hold. Everybody buying back to try to make this a fight. EHOME, both their supports still have it available. They can still buy boots to travel. And now they're going to start their siege up at top. Here behind them though, doesn't have that buyback available.
He's got the Shadow Blade. He's looking for the He managed to get 2, but already a lot of it jumped forward. And now the initiation for Fear. It's all for naught. Samael's in the middle of 3 heroes, but cannot put enough magic damage to push them back. 2 heroes down from Evil Geniuses, and a 3 versus 5 commences as Lanham buys his way back into this game.
EG's gonna need a miracle heal. Sumail still has a lot of damage on his side, but EHOME just marching down. And EG might not have the bodies to do this.
The Ice Blast is up, now the jump forward. Old Chicken goes for side. Hopefully be able to stop that pesky disruption. But Forzath gets some space. Daggin, oh, he goes down. Triple Daggin. They take out Old Chicken. The Beastmaster's dead. Oh, Old Chicken still alive though. Juggernaut is good to go. He's going to be able to take that melee back. Range back up next melee. Already down. Ice Blast coming in. Is this range rack? That's going to be negative, and they just go PPD. Nobody is
buyback anymore except this Warlock. EHOME gonna be incredibly satisfied, but they want to keep pushing forward. They know that this Ward and this axe can't help out. They catch the nail. More PPD. There's gonna be another hero with no buyback. That's disruptive. Stay from side. Can they get PPD out? He gets the voice tap away, but no! The extra damage comes out from the Warlock as the fatal boss eliminates him, but nice. They're playing a dragon. That gets them. They hold. Mega creeps incoming, but Evil Geniuses will stand strong for now within Teemo. And now everybody from EG is going to start reviving soon. Faceless Void does very well against these Mega Creeps with his build. Vladimir's offering available to him. But EG, not a position you want to be in if you're an EG fan right now. Mega Creeped up.
They're going to calm things down a little bit. They know they've got Mega Creeps on their side. They can play and wait. They've got a buyback up still on Fenrir. They can afford to just wait until all these buybacks are up again. There's no reason to risk an all-in play when they're in such a great position.
I don't think that EG is going to give them that opportunity. I feel like this is EG's time to just go for it. 8 buybacks were used in that fight, 9 buybacks were used in that fight. The only person with it available is this Warlock, but if he gets his abilities off, it doesn't really matter to EG, and that's exactly what they're going for. One last hurrah as they march down this mid lane. The rest of the heroes will meet them there with their boots of travels, and EG, can they do it? Any pickoff on a core might enable them to still win this game.
The boots of travel start coming in from Evil Geniuses. The heroes swarming into mid lane. Already leading the play. Universe, he's got the Moonlight Shadow. He's got the Invis. They reveal themselves on the creeps as they push down yet another wave. They still have a tier 2 up in the bottom lane, so they can't even things out.
Here's going to come in with the healing sound. They're all in for this right now.
8 more seconds for Ice. They start going for those tier 4s. Chipping away, the flip is up. Now the daggers start coming in as Ice revives.
What are they looking for?
Comes out of the fear. Repressor activated by Old 11. That's going to get the chance for a second. He's down and out. Evil Geniuses still 5 up. But here comes Dead on these flash. Bouncing around. It's down even. Hoping to be able to go on his side. But it is. Oh my god! The Veil just nailed him, but he still managed to get himself away in the back right.
It's Faceless Void on the back.
He's now going to go for all 2. He activated. And now he's going to run himself away. Universe sends these guys.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is falling.
He's back into the Radiant space. He's already taken down one of the tier 4s. And he's trying to get PPD, but Evil Genius is full pump collected. They're holding this event here. Five down! 1 buyback, and that's only the Warlock. It's only Mega Creeps and Warlock who could defend this. Evil Geniuses. Have they just done it?
That was a hold of a lifetime. EG, this team just does not quit. They're going to go down this mid lane. They're going to start with the illusions on Universe. Then Harvey by himself going to be able to do it. And this Axe in 30 short seconds going to be able to respawn. EHOME going to have to hold for 90 seconds without this jug. They're starting to make their way down. Are they actually going to be able to do this?
They're halfway through. They've crossed over the river. They're about to go high ground, but Beastmaster and Warlock are about to come back. Evil Geniuses. They can't end this game yet. They're going to try, though. They're going to try more. The boost is travel, and a divine rapier.
The all-in play.
They know this is the end game scenario.
60 seconds without this jug. EHOME, can they hold EG? Confident that it can. Fear's coming up as well.
The tier 4 being not in the game.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Evil Geniuses.
It's over! Evil Geniuses! The impossible comeback made possible by EG!
I can safely say I've never seen something like that. EG held out for so long, no buybacks available, but with 3 heroes and all Dagons, they managed to hold their base. So resilient throughout this entire game. 20k lead at one point for EHOME. Even Mega Creeps weren't able to do it, and they're going to walk away with game number 1. Hard-fought victory for them.
Relief,
pure joy, so many emotions on the Evil Geniuses players' faces. The crowd is going absolutely insane, and the series, it's not over. This is just game number 1 of EG and EHOME.
I've never seen a game played out like that. Unbelievable.
It goes to the bitter end. EHOME, they thought they had it. It's so many points. The beginning of the game, the laning phase was all theirs, and then it turned back. Then, mid-game, it looked okay, still not enough. EG